Bruges, also known as Venice of the North, is one of the most romantic cities of Europe. Bruges is such a fairy tale town and has so many romantic things to do for couples, like boat tours, medieval ruins, amazing picnic spots and breathtaking viewpoints. Here are the most romantic things to do in Bruges, Belgium. See Rozenhoutke, Quay of the Rosary. Relatively close to Tanner's Square, Rozenhoutke is possibly one of the best things to do in Bruges for the views alone. It's just such a stunning area of the city and one place you won't want to miss. Rozenhoutke is centered around where the Groene and Dijver canals meet, making it a picture-perfect spot to see with the Gothic buildings that surround it. Lots of boat trips start around this area, so it's a great starting point to see Bruges by the canals. To make things totally easy, book boat and walking tour of Bruges. You'll get to visit the city's most famous and iconic spots and learn so much more about the history of Bruges. Climb up the Belfry of Bruges. The Belfry of Bruges is a totally impressive medieval bell tower and one of the best things to do in Bruges, especially if you're interested in stunning buildings and history. Built around 1240, the bell tower stands at 83 meters tall and houses 47 bells. Also, head inside to climb the tower and the approximate 350 steps and enjoy panoramic views of the city. Prices are around €10-12 each, so if you're not fancying a climb or you're looking to save you pocket money, you might want to give the tower part a miss. Stroll through Groningen Museum. The Groningen Museum provides a culture-filled morning learning about the art history of Flemish and Belgian paintings. The museum also houses 18th and 19th century neoclassical pieces and post-war art that's pretty amazing to see. In my opinion, museums are explored best when the weather takes a turn for the worse, as you're seeing some incredible history but also escaping a shower. Now, it does get busy at certain times, so head here early to beat the crowds. Admire Bruges City Hall. Bruges City Hall sits in Bruges main plaza and is one of the oldest city halls in the entire region. Dating all the way back to the 12th century, it's one of the most impressive and best things to do in Bruges as it showcases a huge amount of incredible Gothic architecture. Oh, and the main hall inside is magnificent to see. There's also a museum on the ground floor that shows off the history of the building, but if you're not into museums, you'll probably want to skip this part. Chill out at Minwater Lake. So, Minwater Lake is a nature enthusiast's dream that's perched right in the city itself. Located in downtown Bruges, this public green space is home to a pretty castle and beautiful trees. Take a walk over Lover's Bridge to admire the river views or bring an appetite to gorge on waffles. Oh yeah, and if you arrive in Bruges by train, make sure to walk to the historic center from the station itself. You'll pass by Minwater Lake and see the stunning architecture too. It's a great introduction to the city, in my opinion, one of the best things to do in Bruges once you arrive. Gorge at the Markt. Bruges' main market square is home to medieval festivals, summer fetes and craft fairs all year round. Even when there's nothing on, the market is a great meeting point, and it really is the beating heart of Bruges. You can also get a horse-drawn carriage tour of the city from here. It's definitely a unique perspective and one of the best things to do in Bruges when your feet need a little rest. Oh, and if you're hankering for some of the tastiest waffles, pop into a Taddy's, which makes the crispiest and fluffiest ones around. Bonifacius Bridge. One of the most picturesque spots in a town bursting with them is the Bonifacius Bridge. Nestled in between two other charming Bruges highlights, the regal Groothuis Palace with its stunning courtyard and the quaint, noble Renshof, it has even surpassed the Minwater Bridge to earn its nickname the Bridge of Love. A built-in bench on the inside makes for the perfect seat to watch the boats and swans float by. Don't imagine the medieval romances that must have bloomed here just yet though. Despite its ancient look, the Bonifacius Bridge is only a little over a century old, a veritable youngster in Bruges terms. Beguinage. The princely Beguinage ten Wijngert is an especially romantic attraction during springtime, thanks to the many daffodils blooming in its peaceful garden. But it's also an early vestige of medieval feminism. The pious ladies who inhabited the Beguinage since 1245 were emancipated women who lived productive lives caring for the poor. Today only 8 sisters of the Order of Saint Benedict remain in the small, white plastered buildings to welcome you to their historic household and museum every day until the gates close at 6:30 p.m. Stoofstraat. This exceptionally slim alley has a history of rendezvous, though not of the overt kind. The Stoofstraat, or Stove Street, used to be home to a notorious bathhouse for the hot and heavy elite. Wealthy men not only came here to have a haircut and clean themselves up, but to enjoy a romp with local prostitutes as well. In a way, it was Bruges' very own red light district until the church shut down the fun. Due to obvious reasons, these kind of places were located in discreet, narrow alleys such as this one. In some places the walls are so close to each other you can spread out your arms and touch both sides. The Basilica of the Holy Blood. The Basilica of the Holy Blood is a 12th century chapel in the medieval town of Bruges, Belgium, which houses a revered vial containing cloth stained with the actual blood of Christ. Or so it is believed. While the chapel itself is a beautiful sight, it is the blood and its accompanying story that attracts visitors. From the devoutly religious to the deeply skeptical to those just curious to know what the fuss is all about. A festival known as the Procession of the Holy Blood attracts residents and tourists alike. It is on this day that the Bishop of Bruges carries the cherished vial through the streets preceded by residents, performing an historic reenactment of the relic's arrival and acting out other biblical scenes. Stroll the Windmill Walk. The city of Bruges is famous for its windmills. To witness these quaint wooden structures, just take a walk along the river on the east side of town. Here you'll find St. Jantius and Kalouy mills, which are still grinding grain to this day. Head inside St. Jantius for an inside peek. Alright guys. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.